Good morning, South Park. Listen, it is Wednesday, March 26th. I am making a video because it's about that time. It's end of the chapter time, so you know what's right around the corner. Chapter test. So please make sure you're starting to study. Now listen, you're not on school on Friday, so you should start studying Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You will not have a test on Monday. I will probably have a test Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So I don't want to hear anyone saying, I don't know, I'll give you a final hard day on Monday or Monday when we come back from break. When you come back from break, I'll be here working. Okay, the very first things, moms and dads, this whole entire chapter was about water. So one thing that everybody needs to know is what is a reservoir. A reservoir is a man-made lake that is made when you build a dam. Now, a dam is a barrier that does two things. It either stops or slows water flow. Those are the two things that a dam does. Trust me, that's on the test. Next thing that everybody in this room needs to know. There are 92,000 dams in the U.S. That's a pretty accurate number, right around there, give or take. And there are 3,350 in Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, just in the Pittsburgh area alone, I believe there's 24 just in the Pittsburgh area alone. Next one, there are some animals that do build their own dams. Obviously, our friend, the beaver. Hi, Beav, how you doing? All right, next thing that everyone needs to know is why do we in the United States need so many dams? We need dams for 4 reasons. 4, Mom and Dad, Grandma and Granddad, we need them for 4 reasons. The first reason, we need them to create a pool for drinking water. We're going to take that backed up water, it's fresh water, we're going to use that for drinking water. Next thing that we're going to do, we're going to try to stop controlled flooding. Now, the moms and dads, if you remember maybe about 10 years ago, there was some flooding down on Route 88. We lost a trolley bar that BP flooded right in that area right there is where it flooded. So we build dams to control flooding. So we need fresh water, control flooding. We use them to help create electrical power, hydroelectric power. And the last reason, we use them for farming, for irrigation. So those are the 4 reasons. You need to know those 4 reasons. You need to know. If you don't know, you got no one but to blame but the man in the mirror, as Michael Jackson said. All right, next thing that you need to know. How do you make hydroelectric power? There is a turbine inside that dam, and it's spinning. When that water falls, it spins. The more water that falls, the faster it spins. When it's spinning, it's wrapped around copper wire, which creates a current, which gives us electricity. When that turbine is spinning around the copper wires, it produces electricity. So that's how it is made. Trust me, you better know what a turbine is. Moms, dads, great day trip or overnight trip if you go up about 100, maybe 215 miles. Hang on. Alexa, how far is Pittsburgh from Niagara Falls?
From Niagara Falls, Pittsburgh is 243 miles away by car.
243 miles. All you got to do is go right up 79, hit 90 east, hit up to Buffalo, get off at Buffalo, follow the signs for Niagara Falls, and you will see Niagara Falls. Great day trip. The reason why I'm telling you to go up, you can see the falls. You can also tour this picture right here. This is the Niagara Falls Power Plant. You can actually take tours inside of it. And actually, I believe right here, there is a video embedded in your notes. Right here is a video. You can actually take tours of the dam and the turbine house. Hydro, obviously by now, and everyone knows hydro means water. So hydroelectric, hydro produces power. So we're good to go there. Dams control flooding. Right here is a couple videos of dams. This one's in Nashville, North Carolina. That's happened from, I believe, in October, September when the hurricanes were hitting North Carolina. This one right here is from KDKA. This is when South Park area flooded that I talked about earlier. And also, dams provide irrigation, water for crops. Now, to be all high class and snooty, the word is irrigation. It's to water your crops. This right here. Now, this is why California is so important. That Central Valley of California, you have a lot of dams that has water coming out of the Sierra Nevada mountains. They dam it up. When it melts in the summertime, they have water for their fields. Water for their fields. And that's all irrigation is right here. Moms, dads, that is in their notes. How you build a dam, there are 5 steps. First thing you got to do is you got to divert the river. Divert means to move. You got to move the river. Once you move the river, step 2, you make a strong foundation. Once you make a strong foundation, you start to build that dam in sections. That section is in forms or molds that look like these. Now, obviously, for a big dam, they would be way bigger than that, but you have concrete molds, and you start building them slowly. You start building them. Then the final part is you put your valves in and pipes to allow the water to flow or to turn it off, kind of like a shower or bathtub at home. You turn the valve on, water comes out. Same thing with the dam. You shut the valve, water stops. So that is how you create a dam right here. The valves are shut to create the backflow of water, to create the drinking water, the reservoir. You open them and it lets it out. Right here, it's in their notes. They have a couple notes of dams opening. The other cool place to go is right up to Palmatuming, and you can see the spillway there and the dam right there when they open it. All right. Largest dams in Pennsylvania, you got the Kinzua Dam in Warren, PA, and the Raystown Lake and Dam up in Huntington. This is another great day trip, moms and dads. You can also see the railroad trestle. I believe in 1983, there's a big railroad trestle that fell over. It's a nice day trip. It's up around Cook's Forest. You could be there and back in one day. If you left here at 8 in the morning in the summertime, you could be pulling in there maybe around 11, have nice lunch, do a little hiking around the dam, do a little hiking around the railroad trestle that fell down. It's a great place to go. Raystown Lake is over by Breezewood. If you go to Breezewood and you go north, you can run into Raystown Lake. I talked about this one. You can actually rent houseboats for the week or a couple days. It's a nice family getaway. All right. This is the Kinzua Dam up in Warren, PA, and this is the Raystown Lake right here. All right. Now, there's impacts on Earth. Very first thing, how does it affect the rivers, dams? It stops the natural flow of rivers. It does that. By doing that, you also control flooding to a degree. The biosphere, it interferes with animals, especially fish, where they hide, where they can find food and they lay their eggs. Also, there is a special type of ladder. This is not the ladder that you use to hang up your Christmas lights. This isn't the ladder that you use to cut down trees. This is called a fish ladder. This is let's use a shortcut that goes around the dam. There is a picture of a fish ladder as it goes around the dam right here. This is a fish ladder. Make sure that you know what a fish ladder is. And also remember, fish ladders are not 100% effective. They're not 100% effective. All right. Let me see what else was on the test that I know. Oh, water everywhere. Hydrologists are men and women who study the water. The hydrologists are the men and women who study study the water. Now, a lot of times you'll hear about hydrologists in the springtime and the summertime when they're worried about drought situations. If they go, hey, this area is an extreme drought, the people who are doing that report or that science are called hydrologists. I do not know one hydrologist personally. All right. Wetlands or swamps are areas that are always saturated. All states have wetlands, but the states that are probably most famous for their wetlands are Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, South Carolina. If you want to add Georgia in there also, too, I understand. swamp, wetlands right here. All right, oceans take up a large part of the world's surface. Hang on, I got the cottonmouth. I'll be right back. Right back to you. Speaking of water, I need some because I got the cottonmouth. There we go. All right, oceans take up a large part of the world's surface. We know that. All right, large lakes appear in North America, Europe, and Asia. Deserts are areas that have no lakes, no rivers, no wetlands. You'll find a stream every now and then in the deserts, but those are mostly during the wet season. All right. The majority of the majority of water on planet Earth is oceans, and if it's oceans, we know that it's what type of water? Not fresh water, but say it with me, salt water. There you go. Good job. Good job. All right, now you can drink salt water, but you will get sick and you could die. Now, if you ever go to the beach and you accidentally get rolled by a wave and you swallow some salt water, which has happened to all of us, you will be fine. If you purposely drink salt water, it will mess up your electrolytes in your body and you will die. That's why I have the skull and crossbones right here. Mom and Dad, once again, this is everything in their notes. All right, when water falls from the sky, either it's rain, snow, sleet, or hail, it's called precipitation. All right. All rivers and most lakes, not all lakes, all rivers and most lakes do not contain salt water, so people can use them as a safe drinking source. The one salt lake in the United States that is probably most famous is outside of Salt Lake City, Utah, hence the word Salt Lake City. Utah, another great place. Obviously, that's not a weekend getaway, but if you ever have the chance to get out there, please do. See this country, it is great. See this country is great. All right, fresh water. Hydrologists classify water into two types. Fresh water, we can drink it. Salt water, we cannot. Fresh water is not salty and safe for people to drink. Most plants and animals that live on land, including people, require fresh water to live. Here's a perfect example. Fresh water to live. All right? Perfect example. Okay, without fresh water, we talked at how natural ecosystems and how basically the world would collapse. You got to think that if we go without power, if the power gets knocked out for a couple days because of a storm, it's bad times in the neighborhood or bad times in the area. Can you imagine if you have no water for a week, what would happen? There's actually some cities in the United States, Flint, Michigan is one, and Jackson, Mississippi is another one, that come to mind that they cannot drink the water that comes out of their faucets. They're working on it to improve it, all right? And obviously, without fresh water, everything would go become chaotic and collapse, all right? Fresh water can be found in lakes, streams, rivers, natural springs, glaciers, and well waters. Moms, dads, if you grew up on well water, tell the kids that it's safe to drink. I tried to tell them, but they were a little leery or skeptical of me, okay? And if you notice, humans build cities or towns near freshwater sources. Fresh water is used to grow crops and to raise livestock for drinking water, all right? Now, if it's in the ground, it's called groundwater or well water, all right? Fresh water is extremely important. In fact, people have gone to war and even actually killed each other over it. It's a sad thing to say, but it's reality. It's part of life. So, once again, moms, dads, they have all these notes. Natural resources, cities that use natural resources, or water, oil, and natural gas. Non-renewables, once you use them, you'll never get them back. Fresh water is a natural resource. If you get it contaminated, you can never use it again. If you go 40 miles to East longer than 40 miles, maybe about 80 miles. Alexa, how far is Pittsburgh from East Palestine, Ohio?
From East Palestine, Pittsburgh is 44.5 miles away.
I was right. I said 44. In my mind, it was longer. 44 miles away, you have East Palestine, Ohio. That's where that train derailed. They can't drink that water for another 300 years. It is that contaminated. All right. Scientists and engineers have helped civilizations overcome a lack of natural resources like fresh water. Now, one way they did it is through a process called desalination. That's where you take ocean water and you boil it and you separate the water vapor and you let the water vapor evaporate, goes to another place, it cools down and becomes drinking water, and the salt is separated. You'll find these around, obviously around the oceans. You need salt water. There's one in Charleston, South Carolina. There's one in Ocean City, Maryland, and there's a whole bunch out west in California. There's actually a process developed in 1965 in California, and also nuclear submarines and Navy warships use the same process, so they have unlimited drinking water for the soldiers and sailors on those vessels. All right. Desalination turns brackish water into fresh water. It takes the salt out of it, so you have fresh water to drink. Moms and dads, if you remember when your babies were young, you could use distilled water. It's the same process. Same process, basically, just on a much, much larger scale. Problem with desalination is it uses a tremendous amount of power, and you have a whole bunch of salt. Now, you can use that salt left over. It goes to like South Park or Bethel Park or Mount Lebanon to use for salt in the wintertime to salt the roads. So you're killing two birds with one stone. You have salt to put on the roads in the wintertime, and also you have fresh water to drink. All right? Desalination, I definitely know that's on the test. As oceans or cities near the ocean grow larger, desalination plants are going to have to become more common, especially along the coastlines. Next thing. Glaciers. Glaciers are melting. Glaciers are an excellent source of fresh water. This is Glacier National Park in Montana. If you have the chance, and I know I talk about where I've gone, where I want you guys to go. There are so many beautiful places in this country. Moms and dads, please take your kids. This is awesome. At one time, there's 150 glaciers. Now there's only 25. There's only 25 active glaciers. When those glaciers melt, it produces a tremendous amount of fresh water. All right, those water is actually so pretty. It's actually like a green color. That water is so clear and fresh. All right. Glaciers are large masses of snow and ice that move slowly over land. Now remember, it's in the water. It's no longer a glacier. Now it's an iceberg. All right. Groundwater is an excellent source of fresh water. Groundwater is found in between the cavities and spaces in the soil. All right. Believe it or not, Mrs. Laritzen, my buddy, Miss Como, my boss, grew up on well water. Miss Laritzen out off of 70 around New Stanton, and Miss Como in Rennerdale, PA. They both grew up drinking well water. Well water won't hurt you. Might give you upset stomach to let your body get used to it, but it won't hurt you there. Now, the groundwater is found in rock formations called aquifers. Aquifers look like this. Now, this is a spelunker, person that climbs through caves. This might be the dry season, but this would normally be filled up with water right here. This is all water. Well water, nothing wrong with it. All right. If any water can go through rocks, it's permeable. That's permeable. That's another highly intelligent hooty-tooty word that means water can pass through it. All right. Your T-shirt is permeable. Water can pass through it. Okay. Many companies use a form of fresh water called spring water. Spring water is water out of the ground. All you got to do is go down 79 in the wintertime or 70. If you look on the side of mountains where you have all that frozen water, those icicles, that is spring water. That is groundwater that's leaking out of the ground. Here's the funny thing. They take that water that's free and they put it in a bottle and charge you guys $8 a bottle for it. All right, so groundwaters can be removed from by digging wells into the aquifer. So if you drill down in a hole, you'll hit water and you can pump it up, and then you hit the aquifer and you have well water. Well water, groundwater, all the same. You got to just get a pump right here. Is a pump that pumps it up out of the ground. All right. Groundwater is replaced by either rain or melted snow. I'm going to put this in blue. So how is groundwater replenished? It's replaced by rain or melted snow. We're good to go there. You know what? Let me put this was supposed to be up here when you add sizes to the notes. There you go. All right, groundwater, because groundwater is so very important, we must do everything to protect it. That means you cannot pollute it. Once this water is polluted, it's gone forever. It's a non-renewable resource. Once you contaminate it, it is gone. Contamination right here. Underground groundwater can be polluted. Think about what's in South Park right now. What is right around the middle school? We have waste management. That's a landfill. Sewer system right out on the road. If you go down to that Cohen, you keep going straight. That is a Bethel Park, South Park sewer treatment plant. Leaky underground gas tanks. Think right at that Cohen, you have gas tanks. Over by Doritos, you have gas tanks. You have gas tanks right around South Park. People use fertilizer. People use pesticides. People use chemicals. All these things can contaminate our groundwater and river water, and we will not be able to drink it. If groundwater becomes polluted, it is no longer safe to drink. Look at how nasty that looks. Yuck. All right, conserving water on planet Earth. We got to do everything to conserve water. 99.7% of all the water found on Earth is salt water. We cannot drink it. Since it cannot drink it, it is non-potable. If water is potable, once again, another big smart word, potable water means I can drink it. Your faucet at home, potable. Your bathtub at home, potable. Your garden hose, potable. The sink in my room, it's all potable water, which means it is safe to drink. Conserving water is extremely important because you only have so much fresh water left. All right. Most water waste happens in our apartments or in our homes. Down for homework. You know what? Let me shrink this picture down here one time. See if I can get it up there. That's what at least I'm trying to do. There it is. Most fresh water happens in our apartments and homes. Okay, answer to these questions. They all did that. Moms and dads, if you helped them out, thank you. If not, look over those answers with your own kids. All right. Water cycle. Water cycle's always been here since the beginning of times. It's just the circulation of water from a solid, liquid, and a gas, and we've talked about this at length. The movement of water is called the water cycle. There's a video on the water cycle, and remember, the water cycle has no beginning and no ending. It's constantly in motion. Once again, the majority of water is found in our oceans. When that water is evaporate, it becomes water vapor, it condenses into clouds, and you either will get rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Snow's my favorite of those ones. Once water reaches the surface, it's going to go two ways. Either become runoff, and it runs back into the oceans, lakes, rivers, or streams, or a farmer's friend, it will soak into the ground and become groundwater. After years of moving underground water is eventually discharged or released back into rivers, oceans, lakes, or streams. And this is my favorite part. So that's all, folks. Let me get back to my notes here. get rid of that, go back to my notes, and that's everything that you need to know. Now listen, this is a long chapter. The test is hard. It's going to be the first test of the fourth 9 weeks. Please study. Matter of fact, I'm not going to beg you to study. You better study or you're going to fail the test. All right? Mom's Dad, if you need me, give me a call. 412-655-3111, extension 3105. That phone will ring and I will answer it. I'm here to help. Or please email me. Hey, as always, drink potable water. Don't pollute the water. Conserve your water and stay stress-free. Hey, go Eagles.